Mobile games come in all shapes and sizes, with genres ranging from endless runners, tower defense, and even platformers. But in my opinion, one of the most hit or miss genres on mobile is FPS games. For every PUBG Mobile, there's at least 10 K-Sniper challenges. Getting the aiming to feel responsive and making sure the aim assist isn't too overbearing is a surprisingly challenging task. And you have to make sure that the game runs smoothly on all sorts of mobile devices. So in this video, I'll be seeing how different people tackle the same task, and look at some generic mobile FPS games. The first game we'll be looking at is Standoff 2. After opening the game, the first thing you do is log in. Well, at least now we can be certain we aren't dealing with bots, but fuck you for making me use Facebook game. So this game is obviously heavily inspired by CSGO. Like, really inspired. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this game is actually just a demo for an official CSGO mobile port. And like CSGO, this game suffers with the same issue I have with that. No matter what type of matchmaking you use, there's always gonna be some 30-year-old man sweating buckets on you. I don't mind competitive games, and I could accept that I'm bad at CSGO, but with Standoff 2, there isn't any option for casual lobbies or even bot play, so it forces you into the lobbies with people who spend their entire lives playing a mobile version of CSGO. However, if I ignore that, I can definitely appreciate that it carries the same logic as CSGO. You can't aim down sights, but crouching increases your accuracy a lot. The mobile aim feels perfectly fine, and there isn't any aim assist, so it just takes actual skill to be able to hit your targets. But overall, I'm really not a fan of this game. There isn't even anything I can talk about besides it just being CSGO but worse. And speaking of CSGO, that's also a free game. So instead of spending 25 hours a day playing this on your phone, just go on a PC. Damn. Here we have Bullet Force. I actually used to play this game back in 2017, and as you can see,
great low battery warning.
I'm clearly the greatest YouTuber alive. Wait, where are you going? Please come back. So this game is heavily inspired by Call of Duty. And while I said this in 2017,
this is a Call of Duty ripoff, obviously.
I don't really think it's actually a ripoff. However, it does definitely have a lot of elements of a generic modern shooter. But all things considered, the game's actually high quality, and aiming feels decently responsive. You fight against real people, and there are even gyro controls. That's something really cool to see in a mobile FPS game. But unfortunately, when you try to look up, it aims down and vice versa, and there's no option to change it, so I had to turn it off. I was able to get into a decently filled server on my first attempt, but after leaving it, I quickly realized that would be the only full lobby. And unfortunately, the exit button is placed in the spot where the resume or continue button should be, and I accidentally left the game. After that point, every attempt I had to join an actual server would result in me joining a completely empty, dead server. Luckily for me, however, there's a game mode where you could practice against bots, so I didn't really have to worry about finding a full server. The bot mode has you going against several bots as one player, and this is actually pretty fair. You have more health than they do, and you could see them on the minimap at all times. This is balanced by having every kill you get on a bot be worth 1 point, but every point the bots get on you is worth 5. Like in most shooters, after killing an enemy, you get the option to steal their gun. And this leads to me knowing that the RPG is legit one of the worst guns in the game. You have to land a direct hit on the enemy. Splash damage either doesn't exist, or it does so little damage that you're better off shooting yourself. The bots in this game are pretty basic. They kinda just stand in place, moving slightly from time to time, and they shoot you when you get close to them. Overall, Bullet Force is an actual quality game, and it plays relatively nicely. I recommend this one. Next, we got Storm Area 51 Simulator. So in this game, you play as a Reddit user having invaded Area 51. Your goal is to kill all the soldiers and, kill all the soldiers. The game progression kinda reminds you of the Battle Royale genre, since you start with absolutely nothing, and the game is free for all. Don't get me wrong though, you don't actually fight against real humans, you instead fight against bots. The game gives you an option to get better stars if you watch an ad, but that really isn't necessary. You kill enemies practically instantly, and you have a ton of health, as well as an auto-aim that could accurately hit people on the other side of the map. Oh my god. Once you get your hands on a gun, the game gets really easy. And with only one map, the game gets really repetitive really quickly. While there are buildings all across the area, they're all empty with not even furniture, guns, or anything inside of them. But there's one major issue I have with this game. Oh, wait, hold on, I got an ad. Oh my god, it's Bear Guy! No! No, Bear Guy's gonna get impaled on spikes! Oh no! Bear Guy, no!
Wow, what a masterpiece in advertising. I want to buy the game now.
Anyways, the main issue I have with this game is that once you're down to the final enemy, there's no way to tell where that enemy actually is. There's no mini-map, and there isn't any storm system to lure people to the middle of the map. It's just you, the enemy, and the entirety of Area 51. And Area 51 is quite big, so you'll end up finding yourself wandering around for a long-ass time just to find that one guy, who's in all likelihood just staring at a corner and not doing anything. This issue is only exemplified by the fact that, again, there's nothing in any of the rooms, so for all we know, there could be a person in there. But I'm too lazy to check 200 empty rooms just in the hopes of that singular person being there. Overall, this game has a pretty good concept, but in execution, it definitely has its issues. Here we have MaskGun Online shooting game. So after politely asking the game to not track my IP, I'm now playing the greatest game ever, MaskGun. The game starts out with a tutorial. Unlike other shooters, this game actually doesn't have any aim assist, but it does have an auto fire, so the outcome of a fight largely depends on who sees who first, but you can kill your enemy faster depending on the gun, as well as how many headshots you get. After a successful fight, you can hit this healing button and instantly get a full heal. Honestly, at first I thought it was one of those scummy business tactics where there's like a really good ability, but you have to pay to use it more than a few times, but the healing ability actually recharges all on its own. Something I find weird is that when you kill enemies, they hit the ground in 3 FPS. Besides that, everything also looks a bit off too. The character models when compared to the environment just look a bit off, but maybe it's just me. Overall, this game is pretty fine, but why am I named Blood Captain 850? The last game we'll be looking at is FPS cover
Shooter.
Offline game.
Wow, I hope that the screenshots look like the actual game.
So unlike the last game, this one's actually branding itself on the concept of it being offline rather than online. That's something you don't really see often, as fake multiplayer tends to run rampantly in the mobile game industry. This game is pretty bare bones compared to the others. You play levels and you have to kill the enemies surrounding you. They spawn 2 at a time, which prevents the player from getting overwhelmed at having the entire enemy team on them at the same time. The first world in the game is Dreamland. So my game theory is that this guy is actually Sans the whole time! Whenever you pick up a gun, it always seems to have a candy cane skin for some reason. So maybe Christmas isn't real, and we've all just been dreaming about it for all this time! But either way, no matter what gun you use, the enemies seem to die as soon as you start shooting them. And you have way more health than they do. There's also a pretty broken aim assist in this game. And despite having a shoot button, it also has auto fire, so there are points where you can literally just stand still and let the game play itself. Also, the jumping noise was stolen from Temple Run. So overall, this wasn't exactly the most ambitious game. It wasn't much of a challenge and you don't really need to focus on it, but it's certainly not bad. And it can function as a quick way to burn through a few minutes, like if you're waiting for something. So yeah, I think mobile FPS games aren't terrible, but I'd rather just play Call of Duty or Counter-Strike on PC or consoles. But for what they are, I honestly don't hate any of these games. And if you want to play them for yourself, that's perfectly fine. Okay, bye.